Everybody, join the
That's
club.
a new one.
It's the Club World Cup on Footy Prime. Everybody, join the club. It's the Club World Cup on Footy Prime.
I tell you what, you may not see much dancing, but if you could see our hips right now, just gyrating to the Latin beats. There's a lot of gyrating going on for this micropod edition of the Club World Cup on Footy Prime, which you can still stream for free on DAZN. We're into the semi-finals, everybody, this week. Tuesday and Wednesday, then the final next weekend. You can watch it all.
Quattro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry, forgot that
Quattro. Part. It's so I'm Sharman. There's Jimmy Brennan. There's all dressed Dan Wong, and there's JC and Say Jeff Cole. All right, fellas. So here we are. We are into our semi-final week. We'll get to the quarterfinals a little bit shortly, but to start with, here is your semi-final matchups. Fluminense, who took care of Al Hilal, as we discussed last week. They're taking on Chelsea, who beat Palmeiras in an interesting match there, 2-1.
Really good match, yeah.
And it's PSG, Real Madrid on the other side. PSG beating Bayern Munich and Real taking care of Borussia Dortmund. I almost said it again. I almost said Mönchengladbach. I don't know why I keep wanting to say that. Borussia Dortmund. So PSG, Real Madrid, and Fluminense against Chelsea. Tasty matchups, fellas. I'm glad there's a Brazilian team in there. Really happy for them.
Mm-hmm.
We keep saying this tournament's growing into itself, as is the fan base. There's good crowds this past weekend, for example. Let's talk about how about PSG Bayern Munich? You want to start with that one?
Yeah.
The Musiala leg break. Oh, God.
Tibia,
dislocated ankle. It's one of those ones, Jimmy, that it's as far as deadly serious injuries are concerned, it's quite common in football, that particular one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just horrendous
it's
to watch.
It's horrible. I can't, with anything with the legs, when you see the leg breaks or dislocations, I can't watch the replays. I cannot watch it. That was my biggest fear when I was a footballer, was breaking my leg. And I played in matches where players have broke their legs, and it's horrific.
I try to avoid it because you guys had it on the dark web and you were talking about it. And I try to avoid it. And then just by sheer fluke on Twitter, I was scanning through his Twitter and someone had it on there. Boom. And I just saw it like without realizing what it was. So I sadly got to see it. Yeah, just horrendous. A guy that's just known for his pace and his speed too. He's young though, thankfully. So you hope he gets better. A lot of players do actually recover from these injuries. You know, so some pretty big names. Remember Henrik Larsson at Celtic? He did it. Ronaldo. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I'm blanking on it.
Didn't he do it as well? Alan Smith?
Alan Smith, he did. He did it twice, didn't he?
Alan Smith, the lead singer from The Cure?
No, that's Robert Smith.
I know.
There's a lot of Smiths out there.
There are.
There's a lot of Smiths out there.
Because Friday, I'm in love, Sharps.
Yeah.
That's right. I think, though, he did it twice, didn't he, Alan Smith? Broke his leg twice, anyway.
Was it once at Leeds and once at Man U?
United, I have to check into that. But...
Jeez, Jimmy, that's good. Can I ask you guys a question about, people are using this as not an excuse, but they're saying, first of all, the two things that went through my brain with Musiala's injury was, people are going to say, oh, this is because of the extra play, the tired, all that. Was there ever a parallel to Europeans Cup / Champions Cup where people said, oh, this is an extra event, or the Euro's an extra? Was there ever chats like that? Because that's kind of what people are talking about, that this shouldn't be going on, this event, this tournament. When people get hurt in Champions League and Nations League, it's all usually soccer oriented. And even like Bayern, I was wondering if Bayern was going to sue itself for like what they're doing with Canada's men's team with Fonzie.
Yeah, right.
But people get hurt, and yes, there's more matches. But wouldn't they have had these same discussions for all these other, like the Carabao Cup, all of these things? Jimmy, is that like blaming the tournament? Does that have hold any water for you?
No.
Okay.
No, because that injury could happen anywhere, couldn't it? That could happen in the domestic league, or it just so happens it happened in this tournament. People are, it's too many games, and everybody's going to get injuries. You know, whether you play 20 games a season or you play 60 games a season. Right?
It's not a fatigue injury, that one, is it?
No.
I mean, if someone's doing his hammy or the calf or quad, or it's a soft muscle injury, you can say, yeah, that's fatigue. You can start pointing fingers.
Yeah.
But I think kind of injury, it's not. And to your question, Wong, about other tournaments, during World Cups, when players get injured, it always comes up, but people don't blame the World Cup.
Well, that's my point, right?
For too much football, because the World Cup is this diamond, right? This crown jewel. It's not the World Cup's fault, and that's what FIFA would hope would be the case with the Club World Cup. Eventually, it becomes a crown jewel, and you're not complaining about that tournament. You're blaming the Carabao Cup. You're blaming the fact that they've got pre-season tours to Asia. You're blaming that. Right. You know, there isn't a winter break in the Premier League, for example. You know, that's what you're blaming. So, but it's a good point though. And people want to jump on it, right? They want to use this as the sword to behead.
Yeah, and the other thing that came up, and that's why I made that joke about Fonzie, but couldn't the same thing be said about, hey, Bayern, you're putting your player, you know, in a position to play too many matches, and he, you know, it just kind of was a bit ironic, and I not belittling his injury, because it's horrible injury, and I'm like Jimmy, I don't watch those things in high, like the replays. They drive like I wince. And the other thing is, I've done it so many. I've torn an ankle. I've, you know, broken an arm. I tore both hip flexors like Jimmy. Different reasons though. Mine was humping my pillows. His was athletically inclined.
Well, that could be athletically inclined, humping your pillow.
Oh, yes.
Right? I remember the first one that really got to me was, what's his name? Bill Krumrie in the Super Bowl.
Oh, right. For Cincinnati.
Was it Cincy? Was he Cincy?
Was it Cincy? Yeah. And he was running. He was running on a broken, like, fibula or tibia or whatever it was. Remember?
I think the Krumrie one was, I think he was a lineman.
Yeah,
and
he was a
pile of bodies, and he saw the leg just like a wobble.
Yeah, Krumrie.
It was rubber. That was the first one that really got to me.
Yeah, he was a Bengal. Yeah,
he was a Bengal. Was
against
he?
The 49ers, though. You're right.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, football.
Hey, I used to watch it back in those days.
Yeah, good.
Like Channel 4 would be on in England, and late at night, I'd sneak into our spare bedroom where we had a little 13-inch TV, and put on Channel 4 and watch the NFL highlights.
What was your soft nudity channel? Because in Canada it was.
I didn't discover that till I came to Canada, actually, because there wasn't cable in England in those days.
Oh, right.
It was just over the air. So once I came to Canada, I found that channel 47. If you squinted enough, back in 1990, you could just about make out a boob.
You might get a boob
if you're lucky. Club World Cup on Footy Prime.
Yeah.
So PSG, they take care of Bayern though in the end, despite going down to 9 men. Now here's one for you, and I want to be cynical here. So Ousmane Dembele scores for PSG. His good mate with the French national team, Ibrahima Konate of Liverpool, tweeted out like a love for Dembele after he scored that goal. All right, now Jimmy, let me ask you this, right? We know they're mates, that's fine, but if you play for a super club in Liverpool, and your mate scores for another super club in PSG in this case, should you be tweeting support for that player when really you're actually rivals on the biggest stage, aren't you? Should that be, or am I just being really too cynical here?
Too cynical. if you're good buddies, right, and you're tweeting something, you know, it's because your buddy's actually done something very impressive in the game. And he's just acknowledging that, saying that. Brilliant. I don't see anything wrong with it.
You're probably cheering. Yeah, you would be cheering for your friends in this tournament, right?
Yeah, of course.
Does it help that he plays in France and not in the Premier League? Had it been his mate who scored for Chelsea,
well,
would that be different?
If they're playing against each other and he scored, and after the match you tweet it out, like, wow, what a goal that he scored. I think that's wrong.
Right.
I think that's a little bit off.
Yeah, I'm probably being too cynical. I know. Just right now, there's some contractual issues with Canadian and Liverpool, and I saw that might upset some fans. Could piss them off, but no.
You are
okay,
quite cynical.
I am, absolutely. All right. So, what do you make of these semi-finals? Have you got any picks? Fluminense against Chelsea. Chelsea beating Palmeiras. That Cole Palmer goal was gorgeous, by the way. Not sure if you saw it or not. Me and Craig talked about it with JC on Saturday. Beautiful goal. Cole Palmer having quite a tournament, actually.
Not as beautiful as his weird hair.
He's got weird hair, but he wears it with pride. Fluminense Chelsea.
It kind of reminds me of like a Simple Jack haircut.
Yes, exactly.
I think Gary Lineker was talking about him recently, about Cole Palmer, and saying like people think he's a little bit dim, but he actually isn't. He's quite bright. But the haircut doesn't help. It's kind of the Phil Foden, right? A little bit.
Well, and I was going to bring this up. I used to think it was the actual haircut that bothered me so much, but now I realize it's Phil Foden's stupid, angry little munchkin face where he's whinging all the time. I have to say, Cole Palmer looks like he's bringing some joy to that haircut. So it's not the haircut, right? He looks like he leans into
hairline.
No, it's a haircut. He could probably do Jimmy. No, Jimmy, you have pretty straight hair, right?
Yeah.
It's the anti-widow's peak.
So, yeah. Right. It's like you can only really do like cool stuff is a bit of a mohawk or just the full comb over.
Yeah, you haven't got many options, have you?
No.
If your hairline is that straight, you haven't got that many options. Something to consider next time we see Chelsea play against Fluminense. Tomorrow, I think, isn't it? Is it tomorrow and Tuesday? I think it is. And then Wednesday is Real Madrid. So we'll get to those games in the next couple of days. Anything else you want to touch on from the Club World Cup?
Just the only thing is, because I wasn't watching football back then, but how big is this Real Madrid team compared to the Galacticos? Like they're full of stars right now. Real Madrid.
They always have been, though.
They always are.
Yeah.
Always are. Galacticos took it to a new level. It didn't really necessarily work out as much. But I think what's interesting about them this year is that it's a brand new coach, right, in Xabi Alonso for this tournament. It's his first tournament. And who knows how far they get. The owner's giving €1 million bonuses to them if they win it for each player.
And it was quite great to see an Mbappe worldie. That was quite that's worth the price alone, that goal. So if anyone hasn't seen it, go watch it.
But the price is $0 on DAZN right now.
Oh,
yeah, so
you're worth the price of $0.
Highlights, full highlight packs actually from all the games, so you can actually have a look at that goal from Kylian Mbappe if you choose to. Okay, well, listen, I think that's probably about it for our little. This is a micropod, 13 minutes. There you go. It's a micropod, but it's a good one. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. As mentioned, it's free on DAZN. Log in right now, DAZN.com. We're back tomorrow. Until then, cheers for watching. Make sure you subscribe and like and leave us comments. We'll get to them, the good ones, even the bad ones we'll get to. So let us know what you think about this Club World Cup. All right. See you later. Bye-bye.